Live. Hey everybody, let me just figure what we're doing here. There we go. It's Thurlin and Lorraine, and we are talking Camino memories once again, and I think it's week 3 this time. We set this up earlier this week, so I'm hoping I remember what we're talking about. I'm going to give Lorraine just a couple of minutes to go on there and to share that for a little bit. Anyway, week 3 of the Camino. Everybody knows that the Camino to Santiago. I'm just trying to get this situated. I don't know what gone wrong with the. There we go. Okay, the Camino de Santiago has been something that we've loved to do. We did a Camino in the French route in 2014, 800 kilometers from Saint-Jean-Pied-de-Port to Santiago, Spain. And then we did the same one again in 2017, and then in 2018 we did the Portuguese up the coast from Porto to Santiago. In that time I also have walked to the coast 4 or 5 times. Lorraine has walked twice to the coast as well, which is an extra 100 kilometers each time. And we love the Camino, and every time we have done the Camino, we did it in this time of year. So when this time of year came along this year, we're feeling the memories quite strongly. Okay, so then share to your page. Okay, and it should come up there on a brown walk with me. I don't know, just share tap now. We'll see where it goes. We'll see if we got this right or not. We just try to set it up to share this so that as many people as possible can watch and enjoy these with us. So, week 3 this time, a milestone in week 3. We hit the halfway mark of the Camino de Santiago. So, here's a little meme for you. When you've walked as far as you can, take another step. Don't worry about that anymore. What it is now. So, here's what we did this week. It's Sunday, September the 14th. To Saturday, September the 20th. It is from, let me change this so you can see what it says there for a minute, Castrojeriz, Spain to Burger Ranero, Spain, approximately 90 kilometers. We'll let Lorraine read just some of these things, what we did.
Castrojeriz to Itera de la Vega. Okay. 11 kilometers on Sunday.
And then from Itera de la Vega to Fromista, 14 kilometers on Monday.
Fromista to Carrion de los Condes, 19 kilometers on Tuesday.
Carrion de los Condes to Calzadilla de la Cueza. We're doing pretty good with these names tonight, aren't we? 17 kilometers on Wednesday.
Calzadilla to San Nicolas de Camino, 14 kilometers on Thursday.
Then a short day on Friday, San Nicolas to Sahagún, and that was the halfway, the what do they call it? The geographical center of the Camino.
And I have to take full responsibility for that being a 7-kilometer day.
Oh, yeah, we did 1 or 2 of those. You can take full responsibility every time. And then, okay, this is your turn, right?
Sahagún del Burger Ranero. I'm getting bad at this now. 18 kilometers on Saturday.
So the highlights of the week, we'll talk about them one day at a time, but the highlights of the week were that we met our great friend, who has become a lifelong friend since that time, Marlin Murdoch from Houston, Texas. We met him on Sunday morning from out of Castrojeriz. Next highlight?
The halfway mark, the geographical halfway mark.
And we picked up...
We got a certificate there to say that we got halfway. That was an accomplishment.
Most people don't stop and get that certificate, but since we did a short day, partly because it was going to rain, right?
It did rain.
It did rain, yeah. So that's the reason we did a short day. So we took the opportunity and went to get that. Saturday night was our first massage of the Camino. And our first massage ever, right?
I think I did have one once before.
Did you? Well, you're lucky. And then in Carrion de los Condes, what did we do?
The Singing Nuns.
The Singing Nuns. So
That's
we've got a
very
special video of them for you. Unfortunately, on the screen that I'm looking at, I can't tell. I hear people joining every once in a while, I think, but I can't tell who it is. So if you're watching this live with us tonight, thanks for watching. If you're watching it later, thanks for watching. All right, here's Sunday. So what happens on each day now is just some pictures of the day that scroll through. Sunday we walked from Castrojeriz to Terra to La Vega. Rather short day. In fact, we stopped before noon on this day, around 11 o'clock. There's a note on the screen.
Was that this day?
Yeah. Everything that's on the screen now is this day.
If you've never walked a 12% incline,
doesn't sound like much, does it? All it means is for every 100 feet you go forward, you go 12 feet up.
And it's hard. So it was a hard day. We walked a 12% incline for the beginning, and then later an 18% decline. And after going uphill, downhills are just as hard.
Yeah, and it was on that incline that we first met Marlin Murdoch. And Marlin was walking up, had just started up that incline, and we passed him. And my first words to Marlin were, it's a great day for a walk, isn't it? Because we were both puffing. I said, it's a great day for a walk, isn't it? And Marlin said, this is hard. And we actually didn't meet him very much again until the very next night, where we began to share some meals together and developed a wonderful friendship. Tell them about the man we met running back.
Oh yeah, going down the decline. We had gone up forever. It seemed like forever, and we were on halfway down the steep down. And actually, it was before we saw a man running towards us as we were going up.
Right.
And then as we were going down the other side, we found a woman with a couple of bags standing on the side of the road, and we put it together. This is the wife of the guy that's running back. And that's a long...
We're about 5 kilometers out of town by now.
And we're thinking...
So he had gone up the steep incline and halfway down the steep incline.
And then ran back up it and down. We thought, what in the world did he leave behind that was that important?
I could only think of 3 or 4 things that I would leave behind. I thought my Canadian passport, if I left that behind. Anything else?
I don't know if there's anything I would run that far for.
A wallet.
Maybe a wallet.
Back for a wallet.
Possibly your phone.
I don't know, boy.
I don't know.
It's the Camino passport. There's not very many things. Anyway, she didn't look as happy about that. We walked a snail pace on that day, and ended up in a little town called Terra de La Vega. I think one of these spots that you see going through here is actually San Nicolas Hospital, which is an ancient, here it is right here, which was an ancient hospital for the pilgrims. Here it is again. And our friend Helen, that we told you about last week, actually stayed there. It is an albergue with 8 or 12 beds, no electricity, no running water, anything like that. But I remember she stayed there that day. So that's Sunday.
One of those pictures spiked my memory of snails.
Yeah.
There were more snails than I have ever seen in my life.
I think we've actually got a picture of them on the bushes.
There's one right there, but they were big and slimy, and you'd see them going across the road.
Later in our Camino, after our Camino, when we were on the Mediterranean coast, our friends fed us snails for a meal. That was a wonderful meal. Here's Monday. Monday, 2,017 kilometers. That's not bad. That's a pretty good day, 2,017 kilometers. Actually, I believe it was supposed to be 17 kilometers. And we walked beside this Canal de Castille, which you'll see 2 or 3 pictures of. Here it is again. It is actually, I know what that was supposed to say. It was 207 kilometers. That's what that is. 207 kilometers, goes through 48 municipalities, irrigates to 48 municipalities, was built in the late 18th century and early 19th century. and it was quite a thing to walk beside. Actually, how it worked was they on each side of the canal there was a wide walkway, and as I understand it, at least the oxen would drag the boats up the canal, and that's how they serviced. Many goods and supplies in the early days. So you can tell them about the boots that are coming up here.
The picture of the boots is a very common thing because when we get to the albergue, the first thing that we have to do is take our boots off. Our boots are dirty. They've been walking all day. They're dusty and dirty. So the boots never go to the room.
There it is.
There's a shelf there, and everybody's boots. And you can tell how full the albergue is by how full the boot shelf is.
That's right. Most of our albergues were actually quite full that year. September seems to be a bubble of people that walk, and so we started in late August this year, August 24th in 2014, and there seems to be a bubble of people so that the Camino is very busy at that time. So that's Sunday and Monday, okay?
There's a tree,
Okay,
green tree that went by in these pictures, and those things that are all over it, you'll notice, are snails. Trees were covered with snails. Plants were covered with snails. That tree is decorated with snails.
We thought they were blossoms originally until our German friend Peter pointed out that they were actually Schneckens or some Schneckens, I think it was on German. Tuesday night was our walk from Fromista to Carrion de los Condes, and most of these pictures are actually of the albergue in Carrion de los Condes, where we had just what I would call the quintessential. I said I was going to use this word, didn't I? The quintessential Camino experience. In reading about the Camino before we started and in watching the way, you kind of get an idea of what you expect every night to be, and every night was not that. Every night was tired and look for food and yada, yada, yada. But this night, Tuesday, whatever night that would have been, September the 16th, was what I call the quintessential Camino experience. You want to tell them a little bit about the albergue?
You can.
I can?
Mm-hmm.
So they were the first people to meet us at the door with I think it was apple juice or peach juice or something like that. These nuns that you see going through there, they just exuded the love of Christ in a way that you don't. I didn't often see. Maybe didn't expect it. Maybe that was the reason. But they met us at the door with a smile. They checked us in with a smile. They set us down at 6 o'clock and had this amazing hymns, or not a hymn sing, just to sing with us around the albergue. Gave everybody an opportunity to talk about themselves. Gave us an opportunity to sing. Go ahead.
Sing songs in different languages.
Right. So they invited you to sing a song in your own language as well, right? Actually, after they heard us sing, just singing along with them, they actually invited us to sing at Mass that night. But unfortunately, we were not going to be at Mass because we were going to go out for supper at that time. So then we came back from Mass, or from supper, and the door was of the cathedral. This albergue was attached to the cathedral. The door of the cathedral was open, and it's obvious that Mass was just finishing, and they were starting the blessing of the pilgrims, and so we went in for that. So that was amazing time as well. We'd been at several blessings of the pilgrims, and usually it's just kind of bless you, pilgrims. not really, but this one was very special. They took as long as you wanted, both the priest and these nuns. Hands on your forehead, and you just had the experience, the sense that they were there for as long as you needed to be. And then went back from that, and they were serving the supper
at about 9 o'clock at night when we didn't eat.
What do they call it? A community meal where everybody helped them make the supper, but they were really the core of it. And so we didn't eat with them, but because we'd already been out, because we knew that this would be past our bedtime. So Lorraine went to bed, and I watched part of this. It And as they ended supper, they sang to the people who had stayed for supper, and then they told us, tomorrow morning, before you are out of bed, we will be in the cathedral and we will be praying for you and your walk of the next day. So it was a very, I'll use the word again, then I'll get off it. It was the quintessential Camino experience of our 48 days. In fact, we had two very special nights on the Camino, very different nights, but this was the one that was like this. So this next screen I'm going to go to is hopefully it works. It's the nuns singing. Oh no, it isn't. Yes, it That whole experience lasted very close to an hour and was wonderful in every way. The next day was Wednesday. That's the long straight road. Talk about that. The long straight road to Calzadilla de la Cueza.
Another long straight
Although
road.
this was
This was a very long day.
17 kilometers straight as an arrow.
You could close your eyes as long as you didn't veer off. You could close your eyes and walk straight.
There was a farm, a large farm, way there it is, way up ahead, and it just seemed like you walked forever to get to that farm. There was one food truck halfway there that you're not sure if it's going to be open or not. So the best advice is on this day to take everything that you need because there's really not even a shade break. If that place isn't open, there's not even a place to get any shade there.
I did put my raincoat on that day because it was threatening to rain, but it wasn't hardly worth taking it out because in about 2 minutes the rain was over.
Yeah, both 2 days in a row actually. This day and the next day, it threatened like this. This is one of my favorite pictures of the Camino because the bright sun is behind me. And the really threatening dark clouds in front of us. We put our gear on, and it rained maybe for 2 minutes, hardly enough to get it wet. In fact, our whole Camino, the first 6 weeks of our Camino, that was all the rain that we had, and then the last week, it rained all week. But we'll talk about that when we get to the last week. In Calzadilla de la Cueza, we met twin sisters named Clara and Sigrid Berger from Holland, who were walking together, obviously, and we fell in like with them, and so we took them out for supper that night. If I remember correctly, they were walking it on a strict budget, and very often, I hope I have this right, very often would only buy one meal and share it between themselves. So that night we took them out for dinner. Told them we would buy the second meal, and of course when we got there we bought both meals. So if you want young people to like you, just buy their dinner, right? So this was a brand new albergue. There wasn't room for there wasn't anywhere that a germ could grow in this albergue, right? That's one of the interesting things about this place was there were 2 or 3 places that we stayed that the albergues were brand new. This one had been open for about 3 months, and the one we stayed at earlier this week at the end of last week actually was brand new. I don't know if we might have been the second day or something there. It was amazing. So the resources around the Camino de Frances route especially are really growing up. That's Wednesday. We better hurry along. We got 3 more days. Not much on Thursday. Uh, 3 roommates tonight is what I said. Lorraine doesn't remember it, but it seems to me it was a young couple from Spain, from Logroño, actually, Spain, and they were walking with their large German Shepherd dog. There he is under the table. Uh, I seem to remember that he came in the room with us. She disagrees with me on that one. So so we won't worry about that day. Friday's the halfway mark.
This is
Sahagoon.
Sahagoon. This is where I conked out after 7 kilometers in the morning.
Not really. You were just your legs were bothering
I needed
you.
a break.
This was actually our least favorite of municipal albergues on the French route. Why? Why are you laughing?
You can see the bunks there. They're all nice bunks, but it's in like a cathedral. Like it's an old church, I think, that's been anyway. So it's got this cathedral high ceiling, and the washrooms are way down at the far end, and our beds are like 3/4 of the way up the other way. And I hear this noise.
Just a moment. The reason she hears the noise is the walls don't go to the ceiling. The walls only go up about 15 feet.
Just a little above the top of the bunks that you can see there. So then it's just free flow noise above that. Anyway, so I'm listening and I hear this familiar sound, and I'm like, oh,
you want to hear the sound?
That's Thurland down in the bathroom washing his false teeth. Sure enough, it was.
Sure enough. The reason we didn't like it very much was because of the sound. It was a Friday night, and the sound there was a lot of sound, and for some reason, most of the municipal albergues were pretty well. The lights out and stuff was pretty well enforced, but this one wasn't, and so
they went late at night.
Some fairly heavy drinking and sounds that goes along with that, and the kitchen was in use late into the night as well, and so we didn't get a very good sleep. So the next year when we went back to Sahagoon, we stayed across the road from it in a private hostel. So that's Friday night. And then Saturday, the end of the week, we walked, I can't see what that says, choices. You had a choice on this day. Very often you get a choice, or not very often, but occasionally you get a choice of which way to walk. So we chose to go to towards El Burger Ranero. Says Camino. I know what I was going to talk about. On the Camino, very often you pay for things, a set price, but sometimes people just have it set out as a donativo. You talked about your Spanish angel last week, and his was for a donativo, but he wouldn't let us donativo anything, right? So it could be beds that are on a donativo. And basic rule of thumb is that you pay for that what you would if it wasn't donativo. You pay what you can, or you at least pay what you would if it wasn't donativo. And on this particular night, the donativo was just a wonderful thing, because it was she was a pilgrim who had been walking the Camino, but she had set up shop in El Burger Ranero for a few nights and was offering massages on donativo. You went first, I went second. You like it?
It was good. After carrying a backpack and walking so far, it was very relaxed.
We felt we deserved. You imagine deserving a massage, but we felt we deserved a massage on that night. So we took one. We paid her pretty good. I didn't cheap out on this, because I felt much better when I was done than when I started. So that's our week. 3rd week, halfway through the Camino. Met our great friend Marlin, had our first massage, passed. I did already said the halfway mark, didn't I? Anyway, thanks for watching. Some of our Camino friends have been watching these, by the way. We've had some pretty good conversations because of that, especially with our Camino friends in Australia. So here's another little Camino mem. The secret to contentment on your life Camino: accumulate small and happy events. Thanks for watching.
Buen
Buen
Camino.
Camino. If you hear some noise in the background tonight, it's because I have Monday off this week, and so we've decided to go for a weekend jaunt, and we're a little bit deeper into Quebec than we normally are. I'm actually not sure where I am, and so we're parked beside a fairly busy highway restaurant area, so there's trucks going by there. All right, thanks for watching. Buen Camino. Have a great week. See you next week as we talk about week number 4, which includes Leon, a major city, and I'm not sure what it talks about after that. Whatever comes after Leon. God bless.